welcome to the Have You Ever Played podcast, the only podcast that is very poorly translated from Chinese. I'm James Ofori, your host, and I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Matt Fondude, aka Matt, or Flip It. I don't know.
All right, so I should probably explain the intro. It ties a little bit into my week. I played a game that I'm pretty sure is Chinese, and it's very poorly translated. It's called Gunfire Reborn. Have you heard of Gunfire Reborn, Matt?
I have Gunfire Reborn. We should play it sometime.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I played it quite a bit. It was like almost the only game I played this week. And basically, the idea is that it's a single player or co-op roguelike first person shooter, or roguelite rather. And you play as these different characters with each character has two abilities. You collect a bunch of upgrades as you go through your playthrough, and you eventually just become really strong as in any other roguelike or roguelite. Uh, and yeah, it's been really fun so far. All the characters are based off of they're all some sort of like animal with like some Chinese culture thrown in there. The character I was playing was I think a snapdragon turtle. He's like a dude with a big shield made of like water. He can just
See,
dash all over the place and be
they're
goofy.
not just animals; they are chibi anthropomorphized animals, which I think is a
Yes.
very important thing to note because this game's art style is definitely not. It is not for everyone, and I think that it may turn off potential people from wanting to play the game because I'm surprised you played this game because I actually talked to this about some to my friends a bit, and I think they kind of looked at it and were like, "Nah, I'm not playing this."
Yeah, it does kind of look like a mobile game at like first glance. I think once you get into it, it's fine. But yeah, looking at some of the characters, I actually think there is a mobile version of the game. Now I'm really thinking about it because when I was looking at the wiki, they did have like a mobile tab for a few things.
And there's two DLCs for the game.
Yeah.
One just came out, and I don't really even I've only briefly played I've only played like an hour of the base game, so I'm not entirely that sure what those add.
Yeah, so I have both of the DLCs. They basically both add like four guns and two characters roughly. The DLC characters are really OP. One of them is just all about doing fire damage. Another one's about like amping the damage of one attack a ton. There's one that can spawn a mech that just plays the game for you. You literally don't need to do anything. You can just sit back. There's a whole build based around literally doing nothing but watching your mech kill the entire room. And then there's an other character, it's like an owl. I don't really know what he does. Every time I read it, it's a combination of the very poor translations and the fact that the character is very complex. He's just weird.
Hmm.
like, so from what I understand, he has like some cards and they have a chance to do things, and like then his abilities are upgraded based off of what ascensions and things and like other upgrades he has. It's really weird. I'm never gonna play it. I'm not gonna touch it at all. It's scary.
So I vaguely I again I haven't played this game in a hot minute, but I think I remember it's kind of like a Borderlands esque looter shooter, but with like 4-player co-op roguelite
Yeah,
and almost like a Risk of Rain 2 if you've played that.
yeah.
Uh,
I've heard that comparison many a
but
times.
I think the characters have skill trees, right? Isn't that a thing? You can like upgrade
Um,
like abilities they have or something.
so there are two kinds of upgrades that you get throughout the game. There are ascensions and occult scrolls. Occult scrolls are more just like general upgrades, like oh your dashes have lower cooldown, but you move slower, or every time you dash, you reload your gun, or something like that. And then ascensions are character specific upgrades, where it'll be like your ability does a new thing, or your ability does something better, like just more damage or something like that. Some of them are really crazy. Like with the character I play, the shield turtle guy. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce his name. Basically, his whole thing is that he has a shield on one of his abilities, and another one of his other ability is just a punch, like a straight up punch. You just punch stuff. And while your shield is up, you can't use a gun. You can only punch.
Hmm.
And so one of his upgrades is that every time you kill somebody, um, for 2 seconds, your dash has no cooldown, and his dash while his shield is out is like upgraded where it'll go farther and do a little bit of damage on people he hits. So you can just mash dash like everywhere. You can literally can't see what's on your screen at all. Just zooming around the room all over the place and hopefully doing some damage.
The zoom punch build, very
Yeah.
reminiscent to a Risk of Rain 2, the loader power
Mhm.
loader character
Yeah.
in that game, I guess.
Yeah, and if you upgrade your punch enough, you'll just walk up to somebody, one shot them with punch, and then you'll just dash around all over the place and just spam punches.
Yeah, that sounds like again, I kind of fell off the game cuz have you been playing the multiplayer at all or you've just been playing single player?
I've been playing co-op with a few friends, but I
Mhm.
guess technically most of the time it's been single player. But some of my friends got me into it, so I have experience with both.
Mhm. Yeah, I played a little bit of single player, but I was like, "Oh, I kind of want to play this with people." But
Hmm.
I found it hard to convince people to buy the game, even though I think it's usually like on sale for like $5 or something.
Yeah, it's like $12 right now, I think.
Yeah, it's a pretty cheap game.
Hmm.
So I would be interested in trying that with you at some point. That could be fun.
Yep.
Um, have you is there a way to I don't really know. Is there like an end? Like can you beat like a loop of the game?
Yeah. So by default, there are 3 stages. Each stage is just a bunch of enemies in a bunch of rooms and leads up to a boss. And once you complete the third stage for the first time, you're prompted to just go back to the main menu and just say, yeah, just play again. And
Mhm.
so then after you get to the third stage a second time, there will be 2 portals, one that takes you back to the menu like normal, and one that takes you to like a new area, which is like a snowy mountain. And from there, it's just another stage, and you beat the final boss, and then you're done with the game. But the final boss is actually really funny. No spoilers, but it's just a kind of with the goofy art style. He's very overly serious. He looks like he moves around like a Dark Souls boss for his intro and stuff like that. It's like the classic, like he's got his sword like stabbed into some like dead person. He turns around, like flips his cape, and
Oh
draws
my
his sword
god.
and points it at you. It's like, what? There was some boss in Dark Souls 3 that was like
Alright,
that. I can't remember.
I'm gonna take a wild guess. Is the final boss like a tiger?
No,
Oh, okay. Are they like a gorilla?
no.
Okay, then alright. I don't know.
You're
I have
getting colder.
no expectations. Then I have no idea what to expect. I was thinking a Kung Fu Panda esque tigress looking
A Kung Fu
MF.
Panda esque tigress.
Kung Fu Panda is great. Have you seen all those Kung Fu Panda flicks?
I've seen the first 2. I never saw the third one. I hear they're making a fourth.
Oh, I had recently seen the third one, and I will say, I mean, the first one's the strongest, obviously,
Hmm.
but if you treat them kind of like one big story, I think it's good. They're all pretty good. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, which is funny because I think when that movie was announced, it seemed like a hot garbage bomb, but it genuinely has a lot of heart and are very good. So check those films out if you have not seen them.
Pog movies.
Hmm.
Approve.
Hmm. I'm gonna just watch James drink his water real quick and wait for the next topic.
All right, next topic, Matt. How was your week?
Thank you for asking, James, the host of the Have You Ever Played podcast. Um, my week consisted of my personal week has been a living delivery hell
Oh,
because I ordered a mattress and a large honking mattress, and it was gonna get sent to the wrong address, and I had to deal with FedEx customer support, which AKA they don't have that. They're
oh boy.
okay. Let me do a side tangent real quick before I talk about video games. Because I technically it was like a video game, because I had to go on Reddit and Google how to talk to human at FedEx, and I had to follow a Reddit guide on what inputs I need to input to the robot to get to a human.
Man.
Normally with customer support, you can just yell "Speak to representative," and eventually it'll put a person on with you. FedEx
Hmm.
doesn't play that game. I tried doing that, and the bot hangs up on you. The robot's like,
Oh my
"Please,"
god.
like, yeah, the robot literally is like, "Okay, your order, you're done." It hangs up on you. But I found the right words to say. So here's the tech, by the way. You have to deny. You have to say more options. So at first you need to say, "Give me options." Then
Hmm.
you say, "Give me more options." If you say, "Give me options" a second time, it won't do it. You
Oh
say, "Give me
no.
more options." Give me more options. Even more options. Then it'll ask you for a tracking number. Then you say nothing, and then it connects you
And you
to a
say
person.
nothing.
And the person is the most bamboozled. They literally are like stunned. They're like, How did you get here?" Because you give them no information, but it's like the support person is always like, "I how did you you're not supposed to be able to talk to a person. How did you get here?"
Man.
And then I explain them my issue, and they as quickly as possible try to get you off the phone, and they're like, th- I'll ask them something like, "Is this gonna arrive somewhere?" And they're just like, "Yep." And then I'm like,
Yup.
"Okay." And then I call again. Like they just don't know. It was a nightmare hellscape. But I just received the mattress, so it worked out. But it was terrible. Um, but tangent aside, video game wise, I have been playing. So I got the well, I've been playing Kingdom Hearts Rechain of Memories still, the card game Kingdom Hearts game that I talked about a little bit
Hmm.
before. I still think that you would actually like this game. It's like an action card game. It's very strange. I think you would actually enjoy it, but that would mean you would have to buy Kingdom Hearts collection
Oh
on
yeah.
Epic Games,
Yeah.
so not a
On one
great
hand, I
thing.
maybe I'd enjoy it, but I don't enjoy Epic Games. So
Yeah. Again, your best bet would be to buy like a copy for PS4 or whatever.
yeah.
Or I could lend you my copy for PS4. I actually own a copy for PS4
I don't even know if
as
my
well.
PS4 still works.
Well, whatever.
Like,
It's really good.
it probably just won't turn on.
Yeah. Um, but like yeah, that's what I've been playing. But the real thing, the real topic is I got the MMO itch again. Um, it
Okay.
happens to me every couple of months. I get this itch that I need to play some sort of MMO, and my MMO of choice right now is I bought a Final Fantasy 14 sub for a month, and I turned the game on, and I'm like, man, I really kind of don't like this game at all. Um, but I want to like it, and I don't know. Have you ever tried to get into a tab target MMO like a Final Fantasy 14 or like a World of Warcraft game?
I did try to get into World of Warcraft once back when
Mm-hmm.
it so back when they announced like the first 20 levels were free. I tried
Yep.
to get into it. And I remember I played for like an hour and just got bored.
Hey, actually, I have a proposition for you. Technically, you can play all of Final Fantasy 14 and the critically acclaimed Heaven's Ward DLC for free, which is like 300 hours of gameplay. Um, which you could try and maybe you'll like it then. But I couldn't get in that deal. I wasn't. I played the game before that deal was a thing, so I am a
Hmm.
sucker and have to pay.
Damn.
But
Imagine being the
maybe if
guy.
yeah,
Imagine being the guy that just played it like a day before the deal.
hey, basically me. Um, but yeah, like maybe it's because I don't have friends to play with. I think maybe I would actually enjoy the game a lot more if I played it with people.
Hmm.
Um, I think I'm just afraid of the public in that game because I mean they're a friendly community, but a majority of the game is small like 4-player groups, and a lot of the game is actually they've put in bots so you can do single player on a lot of the stuff. Um, but it is fun to play co-op with people. The problem is a lot of the harder content and like the content in general, you need to like watch like a guide on YouTube before you even approach it because people will kind of flame you. Although there is systems that show you're a new player,
Hmm.
but it's like I'm playing tank and I'm afraid. Like I've played healer and I've played tank and I'm gonna try DPS. But it's like I'm afraid I'm gonna mess up and everyone's gonna like judge me and like be whatever. You know, it feels like you're gonna let your whole team down if you don't know all the mechanics, and it's
Hmm.
stressful. I don't know. I get stressed out thinking I'm like, What if I go into this like mission and just fail, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. And I think the end game ends up being like how to optimally press buttons in a row. And I don't know if I think that's gonna be fun at all. Like you have to watch each class has their own like rotations and stuff
Hmm.
where it's like you need to press these 20 buttons in this order optimally, otherwise you're bad, basically.
I heckin' love button pressing.
I don't think I don't think I would find that fun at all is the problem. Like so I don't know why I keep trying to play this game that I feel like I might hate, and the story, which is supposed to be the best story of all time in MMOs. Honestly, it does have moments of being good, but a lot of it is kind of garbage filler. Like it's pretty like obnoxious. You're like walking from point A to point B. Now,
Hmm.
I will say I've entered Heaven's Ward, the first expansion, which apparently things are supposed to get way better in this expansion because the base game story is kind of rough. Um, so we'll see. Maybe. I mean, I've put 189 hours into this game, and I'm still kind of like I don't get it. I don't know if I like it yet. So
Yeah.
I don't know MMOs. But yeah, James, what have you? What other? I'm done talking. I talked enough about my woes. What have you been up to besides gunfire?
Yeah, besides Gunfire, played some Dota this week. Went okay.
Hmm.
There's a new patch coming out hopefully soon. So maybe the things I lost to won't be so strong anymore. Um
The
yeah.
copium prayer.
Yeah. There was actually apparently there was a new Overwatch patch today. And my friends were trying to
Oh,
get me to play and I was like I read the patch and I'm like nah, I'm good. Cuz
okay. I also updated the game too because I like looked at it and I'm like maybe I should play this game again. So if you do play it, maybe we could get something going.
yeah, like I saw like the first thing I see in the patch was like Orisa fortified damage reduction from 40% to 50%. I'm like, all right, dude. And, like, what are we trying to do here? Like, I get the character isn't great, but like, what's the point of this?
I thought Arissa was good-ish now, like or is good.
Uh,
I don't even know. I can't make
yeah,
comments
she
on the
she just
balance of
doesn't
this
have
game.
like range or mobility, so she's kind of sits there and like bullies the enemy tank if they walk directly into her, and if they don't, she's just kind of sad.
Yeah, I mean,
So
did the Hanzo didn't they like do the Hanzo like sniper nerf where now they don't
yeah,
headshot anymore? Headshots
yeah,
don't kill. Is that a thing? Like is that do they
yeah, it
not
is a
one
thing.
shot? What do they do?
Well, so from what I've heard, Hanzo still one shots everybody is below 250 HP because the headshot does 240 damage now. And Widow, I guess if you're like 30 meters away or something, you just won't one shot or something like that.
Huh. I don't know. I think it's snipers are terrible for video games, I think in general because in my opinion, the only thing balancing snipers is like player skill, and if players are good enough, then they're just unstoppable.
Yeah, I think one shots are generally not too fun.
Yeah. But Hanzo's really fun to like. That's the problem. Like Widow and Hanzo, I don't know really know about Widow as much, but Hanzo is so fun to play in quick play and just frag
Yeah,
out. But it's not fun to die in one hit to Hanzo. So there's peaks and valleys.
I honestly think there is a way they can make Hanzo work without a one shot.
Yeah, I'm sure, but like it's one of those things. Like I don't know. I got really into playing Hanzo recently just because he's fun, but I it's not good for the game to
Yeah,
have these mechanics or whatever. But whatever. I don't know. It's over Overwatch. I lost all. Like I was back in when the PvE was like hot on its like oh maybe we'll hear about it, and
oh
then that
man,
whole debacle and now they're charging for like the PVE things that they are gonna
yeah,
do. Like I have no, I don't know. It really took a lot of wind out of my sails to
yeah.
want to
They
play that game.
yeah they announced charging for the PvE. Then they announced that after the first PvE comes out, they're gonna wait to release the next ones to like get feedback, which is good sentiment. But also, people waited 4 years for that,
Yeah,
so
and
it's
it's not
kind of
even what they
yeah.
promised.
It
So
yeah, it's gonna be like no like skill trees and stuff like that. It's just gonna be like basically Call of Duty campaign missions or
Oh,
something like that.
actually, I believe Microsoft got the go ahead to
Oh
buy
yeah,
Activision Blizzard. So that's
yeah.
breaking news. I mean, maybe we shouldn't be happy that one megacorp owns like everything, but also Activision Blizzard are terrible. So maybe Microsoft will actually whip them into shape.
Whip them into shape.
Yeah, I don't know. We could hope. Maybe it
Yeah.
seems like recently Microsoft has actually been like a good. The news of their acquisition seems to be a good thing in terms of the short term. Like, I want my game not to suck. Maybe
Hmm.
long term nightmare Monopoly hellscape, not so much. When Disney buys Microsoft and makes like Disney Soft and owns just
Disney
everything.
Soft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
What else? Oh, this one's actually kind of funny because I had an emotional reaction to this one. So apparently the boys is putting some of their characters in Call of Duty. There's gonna be
Oh.
this is gonna be Black Noir, Starlight, and Homelander. And so the reason why this is funny is because so I'm an Apex player, and
Yep.
obviously Apex makes a lot of money.
Hmm.
And they obviously like people. It's popular. People know about the game, so Apex players are really hoping that one day we'll get a collab like Call of Duty, and then just every other week it's like Call of Duty just snatches a collab. And you're like, just once I wish it was Apex, please.
It's weird, but that's a slippery slope because you're like, I want my things in Apex, and then you have Naruto running around in Apex, and it's like, okay, we've gone too far.
I mean, the funny
Um.
thing there is one of the characters in Apex used to Naruto run.
Oh. Um. Yeah. Call of Duty though, that's a weird thing. Call of Duty always is a weird game because it feels like military game, but even with the newer, what was the one we played, Cold War or something?
Yeah,
Had like didn't that game, or might have been the one, not Cold War, might have been the other one. But they had like a Santa Claus skin, like a vaguely
yeah,
Christmassy Santa outfit, and people were like, "That's too far." Now they have full on cameo characters. I mean,
yeah. So the thing with Call of Duty is, you would think that this isn't true, but the Call of Duty's theme is actually pretty weak. Like they could very easily put anything in there. Like even since like Call of Duty Ghosts, which was 10 years ago, where I think they had Predator in that game, and they had like a whole
hmm
game mode for it. They've been experimenting with crossover and stuff like that for a long time. And like the reality is that it's the actual profile of a Call of Duty fan overlaps with a lot of other forms of media. So like it appeals to them anyway, usually.
well, I think it's they realize that Fortnite makes billions of dollars. And a lot of games now do that, like that crossover content. And Call of
Hmm.
Duty is like, all right, do we want integrity in our design or do we want money? And it's Activision Blizzard, so
Yeah,
they're like money,
I
and
think
it's whatever. Yeah.
yeah. So I think what's actually interesting is like, so they were kind of doing that stuff before. Like, they were kind of dipping their toes in it. Like they had, every once in a while you got your Snoop Dogg announcer and all that stuff. Then Fortnite
Mhm.
started doing it. They're like Godzilla game mode. You get to play as Godzilla
Fortnite. We're adding Call of Duty to Fortnite.
one day.
New update. Um, Speaking of games that just added Call of Duty to them, right
What?
before the podcast, I was showing James, uh, my Roblox, my classic favorite childhood game that I still dabble in because it still is cool. Um, so there is a game on Roblox called Frontlines, and it is like a Call of Duty game, and it is probably the most impressive Roblox game I have ever seen. In terms of scope, well, not scope, but it is Call of Duty on Roblox, and there's been other games like there's a CS:GO game on Roblox, there's a TF2 game, and they play really good, but they look like Roblox. This game genuinely looks like a completely different game, and it feels like a good Call of Duty game. It looks and feels so different than anything on Roblox. It is crazy.
Hmm.
Um, I'm gonna give it some play after this podcast. It feels like really good. Um, this is kind of leading into right now. It's a PG-13 game on there, but I think they'll probably take advantage of that Roblox M rating. that we discussed on a prior podcast to maybe, I don't know, add more like the alcohol and gun themes and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's some weird comic mischief that can be displayed. But
Comic mischief.
yeah, no, it is extremely impressive. Look up gameplay if you don't believe me. It is very impressive what you can do on Roblox nowadays.
Hmm.
Transcending what I thought would be, possible for a game. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's that segment.
I actually did come across one more piece of news that I thought you might find interesting. So apparently, there was a study that found that or the vast majority of pre 2010 video games are not available, like legally, which is
Oh,
which you would think like
mhm.
obviously, but like when I really look at it, it's kind of crazy. They're saying like something like 89% of games from 1975 to 1979 just aren't, they're just gone. Even like considering pirating and stuff like that.
With emulation.
Yeah.
I mean, PlayStation 3, I could think of like PS3 emulation being like really obnoxious, and a lot of those games probably fall in that genre because of the architecture of that system being notably hard to emulate. But are you talking about like just bulk? I mean, there's probably a lot of games that are just like JoJo's Circus Adventure. And it's like not even worth ever archiving, but you know.
Yeah, but I want JoJo's Circus Adventure.
Yeah, I'm also on the side of preservation, but I think maybe that number. I mean, you're not gonna have a problem playing Mario 3 or some game that
Yeah.
you actually care about. You may have a hard time finding Crayola Animal Adventure, um, but yeah, what
Yeah.
what games specifically are they mentioning in this article? Is it
This is a pretty short article. It talks a lot about like a Nintendo 3DS and like Wii U eShop and stuff like that.
like
But
virtual console stuff?
yeah, but also it's so apparently this article, the source is the Video Game History Foundation, and I find that really funny because it's like, could you imagine your job is like video game history analyst, and it's like, oh, let's talk about the backstory of this game. What do you mean it doesn't exist? Like, could
Well,
you just imagine that?
the completionist on YouTube actually like bought. Wait, let me make sure I'm completionist. Or wait, yeah, I believe it's the completionist bought like every game on the Epic, or not the Epic Game Store. Every game on
Epic
the
Games Store.
eShop, like the 3DS eShop or like the Wii eShop, one of the things. Or the Wii U, I don't know. They bought all the games to archive and make sure we have copies of everything. Cuz yeah, like you're right. Like there's a lot of WiiWare titles and stuff and random things like that where it's like, okay, if you didn't archive it, it's going to be really hard to find,
Hmm.
or it just might not exist. And again, a lot of those games are like meme run, like no one cares. Realistically, you'll not play these games; they're trash. Anything worthwhile is probably backed up. But
Hmm.
at the same time, yeah, I don't know. It's nice to have games to
Oh,
play
okay.
everything.
Okay, so I'm reading over this article again. So part of the problem is that the Video Game History Foundation, they say that outdated copyright laws are preventing them from doing their jobs, like literally. So like, so I guess like they're probably like supposed to play these games legally if they're reporting on it and stuff. Like, I don't know if saying, yeah, we pirated this game is a very good look. And
Mhm.
then on top of like copyright laws, I could see how it'd be really rough.
Well, there's some games like on My Abandonware and stuff that like the developers and the publishers don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So the only way to like have a copy is just through some third party mean. And also there have been games like the Scott Pilgrim game and some other games like I think like Lego Hobbit and stuff that have been delisted because their copyright ran out. They're like, oh, we paid for licensing for a certain amount of time. Then they get
Hmm.
delisted and you can only play them if you own them, and then sometimes they add them back. But like that's another issue of game preservation. Just games that have a shelf life. Or shows to
Yeah.
Nintendo's weird Mario collection that had a limited digital release for no reason, for just artificial scarcity, which is
Hmm.
just one of the worst practices in recent memory of just like a single player game digital only with a limited release window. Just
Yeah.
no reason for that.
It reminds
Ugh.
me of have you heard about like all the drama recently with some streaming services? They'll release a movie or something like that, and the movie won't do well, so they'll just take it off the service. And so then the movie is just gone, and people didn't even have a chance to see it. Like there was a movie on Disney Plus, I think, that was made by the Stranger Things creators, and they said like,
Mhm.
yeah, we took it off, and everybody's like, what? What do you mean you took it off? I didn't even hear about this movie. They just
Well,
completely failed to advertise it.
I'm sure there's a way to yo ho watch these movies, but legitimate by legitimate means, yeah, it's
Definitely.
crazy. Um, but at the same, and then your answer could be, well, physical media, and with video games, that's not even really a thing anymore because day one updates. But like,
Yeah.
I'll contend, all right, maybe like a video, right? Let me buy a physical Blu-ray or DVD. Even that has issues where there's actual like disc rot, where DVDs just will, over time decay and not work.
Yeah.
But also the fact that it's like physical space. Like, okay, if I want to have my whole physical library, I need like 300 discs,
Hmm.
and it just takes up space as well. So there's no real great. I mean, I guess the again, the best way to handle it is kind of managing your digital files yourself using like a service like Plex or something, and then just using that.
Hmm.
Um, because there again, it's just like there's no good centralized streaming service anymore. Like Netflix when it initially launched was kind of like that, but now there's like 100 versions, and it's like I can't even watch a movie. Half the time, it's like, all right, I want to watch Terminator 1. It's like, what can I watch that on? Nothing. Okay, well, Terminator 2 is on these services, but why is Terminator 1 not on any of these services? It's like, well, I don't know. Buy it on
Yeah.
Amazon.
And
It's
I
like,
think
we're.
what's also kind of crazy to think about is as there's more streaming services and things like that coming out, there actually may be more gaps in what's available. Because it's like they can't really like keep each other in check. Like say, oh, what do you mean you don't have Terminator 2? I don't have it either. Nobody said we were supposed to have it.
And then some can have the same content where some are like multi licensed. But
Yeah.
the most egregious thing is where, and The Office did this with Netflix. It's just like, let's just take off this from Netflix and put it on our own thing called Peacock. And also, some of the things like Paramount Plus and stuff, where it's like, all right, we're gonna take the one show people actually care about and then put it on our service. And it's like, I don't know, streaming services are just rough. Wait
Hmm.
until Xbox Game Pass makes a heel turn and becomes like everyone's favorite thing to being like, oh yeah, you liked Assassin's Creed 2? Well, we're no longer offering it on Game Pass. It's going away
Man,
in the Disney Vault.
in the Disney Vault. Why did they advertise the Disney Vault like that?
I loved that advertisement
I
as a
used
kid,
to
the
think it was
Disney
some
Vault.
magical place, but no, it means they're taking it out back and old Yellering it. Like, damn.
No, it was scarcity. I mean, they're not going to manufacture the VHS tapes forever. By the
Yeah.
way, if you're listening to this podcast and don't know what a VHS tape is,
Oh
it's your
no.
bedtime. Please
Oh
go to bed.
no.
Um, that's not even true anymore. Like people, like I'm like, haha, there must be like 4 years old, like 10 years old, whatever. They're like, no, they're like fully adults. These
Yeah,
people
and
just never heard of.
I still have some VHS tapes actually.
Yeah, but the VHS tape era. Yeah,
Oh
you
man.
put something in the Disney Vault because it's like we're gonna do a limited release of this movie. Buy it now. It makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah. Ugh.
Oh man. All right, we have talked about our week sufficiently. It's time for some questions. If you have some questions, be sure to email us at HYEP podcast. That's HYEP podcast. Two P's. Yep, podcast. And yeah, Matt, would you like to start us off with a question?
At gmail.com.
Oh yeah, my bad. At gmail.com.
Yeah. I'll start us off with a question. Let me ponder our orb that is the questions.
Our orb.
Let's see. I feel like we should get some more questions soon too, even though there's a lot of them. But just like refresh it. All right. Let's see. Oh, racing games. I grew up
Oh
playing a lot of
god.
racing games. Are there any racing games from your childhood that deserve any recognition? Did you ever play? Were you ever into racing games?
Not super into them, so I just had some racing games because my uncle had them on like his old Xbox. And I kind of just they're all just like I played them once. I'm like nah. I do remember I had I think it was Need for Speed Most Wanted on my PSP, and I remember I was playing that. I need to look this up just to confirm. This better be the right game.
Hmm.
Maybe it wasn't. Who cares? I was playing some Need for Speed game. Wait, there's two Need for Speed Most Wanted. Okay, this is a rabbit hole. This is a real rabbit hole. So the 2005 Need for Speed Most Wanted was on PSP, and I remember I was playing that game, and I saw a commercial for the Need for Speed movie. Keep in mind this. I was playing this game long after it came out. This was like 2013 or something. I saw a commercial for the Need for Speed movie, and I saw Aaron Paul was in it. And I thought, wait, you mean that guy from Breaking Bad? Why are there cars in Breaking Bad? And I was so unbelievably confused because I hadn't actually watched Breaking Bad. I just heard of it, and I'm like, man, Breaking Bad. This guy from Breaking Bad is just kind of racing. And I also think this might have been the same time that Breaking Bad was ending. Now that I think about it, so I think I might have seen a trailer for El Camino. Actually, no, that was two. El Camino was much later, but anyway, I heard Breaking Bad was ending. Saw the trailer. I'm like, what is going on? This is some weird crossover event because I didn't know that actors were in different series at the time. I was a silly little I don't know, like eighth grader. But
You're like, I don't know. Wait, you didn't the eighth grade seems a little late to grasp that concept that actors
I
can
don't
be in
know, man.
different things. That seems a little late in the cycle.
I don't know. I had MCU brain before MCU was even that big. What do you mean
um,
Robert Downey Jr. isn't always Iron Man?
I mean, to be fair, he seems like he's almost always Iron Man, at least from what I've seen him
Man,
in.
he probably just gets typecast nowadays.
Yeah. Well, nowadays, what has he been in post Iron Man?
I
Has he
don't
been
know.
in anything?
Maybe he's just chilling. I mean, certainly he's like set off of MCU
Yeah, he
money.
can definitely afford to just chill after that, like decade plus long endeavor.
You know, it's like a. Actually, that pretty much was just a decade. Oh,
Yeah.
there's some. Okay, let me avoid that part of his Wikipedia page. Um.
Oh God.
All right, dude. Why is the filmography incomplete? There's a separate. Sometimes Wikipedia flabbergasts me. He's in Oppenheimer.
Oh, is he? Is he up Oppenheimer
No,
style?
he's Lewis Strauss.
Oh, the classic character Louis Strauss from history.
He actually hasn't been in that much. He was in Doolittle with oh no. He was in Doolittle with Tom Holland. I remember hearing this movie was abysmal.
Every Tom Holland property that is not Spider-Man is like an instant flop, like the Uncharted movie, and he was in some other stuff too. It's just like not instant failure.
You know, I saw this meme. It was saying like who is Tom Holland's agent and why do they keep doing this to him?
Exactly.
And you know what's the crazy thing? This movie actually made money while The Flash didn't.
Oof. But Kojima likes the Flash.
Kojima does like The Flash. Yeah,
You know, he went on record on the Twitter record and said he likes it.
he's been in Doolittle, a movie called Senior. Oh, this is nice. It's like a movie about his dad. It was on Netflix though. Yeah, he actually hasn't been in very much. Only
Oh
like two
God,
movies.
I just thought of. Oh, Ezra Miller's gonna be in Death Stranding too.
Oh God, why?
He's gonna be Run Fast Man, Run
Okay,
Hard Man.
anyway, speaking of moving fast and hard racing
Yeah.
games, I have like
Hmm.
nothing to say about them. Matt, what about you?
So I played a PS1 racing game that was a jet. It was a water racing game, but you weren't on like a Sea-Doo thing. It was like, what is it called when you like ride behind a jet ski on like
Ooh,
you hold the bar and you're like on
um,
like water ski. It's water skiing, right?
yeah, I think so. Let me look
Uh,
that up to make sure.
I played a like water skiing game, which I during the entire duration of this I've been trying to like look up. Wait, Sega Water Ski. Maybe this was it.
Yeah,
I have the game still. I would have to go find the cover art. Like I have it is very recognizable cover art for me. I like cannot find a picture of it, but it was like a jet ski like racing weird trick game that I
hmm
really did not like as a kid at all because I didn't understand it. Um, but I low key kind of have nostalgia, and I feel like it could be fun to play.
Yeah.
The world of like water racing games is actually kind of cool. And kind of I think is a slept on category of games.
Slept on category.
Um, of all the racing games, I feel like those kind of appeal to me weirdly. Uh, also, Kirby's Air Ride is a banger of a racing game as well.
Hmm.
That's a weird one. Though it's a weird controls banger of a game. City mode or whatever. City Trials. If you know, you know.
Damn.
And also F-Zero from the little I've played. F-Zero goes hard. F-Zero on the GameCube. Fire game goes big fast, big fun.
Yeah, I looked up water skiing to confirm, and every single person that is in a picture water skiing, they just look fake. But then there's
Mhm.
this one picture of these two children. One's like water skiing, the other one's drowning, and it's like that meme of the one kid getting lifted up in the pool and the other one just actively drowning, and
Oh
it
yeah.
caught me so off guard because all the other ones didn't look like they were real.
There's a new TikTok trend currently going on right now
Oh
called
no.
like the boat jump challenge, where you have
Oh
to
yeah, I
jump
heard
off of a
about that.
speeding boat at
Oh
max
god.
speed, and I think 4 or 5 people have died from doing it
Yeah.
already.
Yeah, I heard
Very
about
cool
that.
challenge, very epic.
Yeah.
Um,
Viewers, don't do that challenge. If
yeah.
you see a challenge on TikTok and you see that anybody has died from it, honestly, don't do it.
I
If you
think you could
think
have
it could
stopped
kill,
at if you see a challenge on TikTok, don't do it. If you see
if you,
a thing on TikTok, don't replicate it.
don't TikTok. But yeah,
Yeah.
if you see
Just
something
don't
that you
use
think
TikTok.
if you see something that you think might kill you, don't
Anyway,
do it.
follow Matt Fondude at TikTok at Matt Fondude on TikTok. Um, my presence there is not as strong as it could be. I don't really like the platform. If you
Yeah.
want to see my shorts, just go on YouTube Short. They're more up to date there. Uh, but yeah.
All right. Going away from people deciding they no longer want to enjoy their life. Um, Next question. Hey, podcast hosts, what are some games that you played when you were younger that you think would be great for a modern sequel? Actually,
Oh.
I quite like this one.
A modern sequel that a game that it has to be a game that hasn't had like another sequel. Okay, well, I'm gonna I'll like what came to my mind at first. I'm gonna selfishly say I want an Ape Escape 4. Ape Escape
Damn.
3 was the last Ape Escape game that was like the main line. I think we could get an Ape Escape 4 in current year. I think it would be fun. Um
Hmm.
yeah, like a Patapon 4. A lot of those games. They had a lot of sequels though. So maybe I got to think deep. What's a game that only really got like one game that could really use like
I
it
guess
would be
it
cool if
doesn't
they
have to be
brought it
just
back.
one, but maybe one that could have used like another game in the series or something like that. Really
Yeah.
really wrap it like some games where there's only two. You just want to complete the trilogy.
Hmm. Tomba 3. Again, selfishly, I want that, but what's like something I want to think of one that's like a game that only got one game that kind of would be cool if they made another one. I think it's harder to think of though.
Hmm.
Um, do you have anything?
Yeah, I have a few. So, Spider-Man: Edge of Time. That was a very cool game. It was a sequel to Shattered Dimensions. Well, technically, it was weird because it's a standalone sequel essentially. So the idea is it's in the same universe, but it doesn't really like reference the other one much. It's just the same sort of concepts because it's a multiverse Spider-Man game and it has some previous characters. But I think a third game in that series would go hard today because people love multiverse stuff. They love Spider-Man. They love Spider-Man multiverse stuff. They love Spider-Man 2099. People simp for him on Twitter.
Yeah,
You know, it's
I've
got
seen many a Thirst post
yeah, it's got
from Miguel.
all the components. You know, and I also just think that we honestly need more goofy Spider-Man games. Not everything has to be the high quality Insomniac Spider-Man games. I want my shitty little play 10 Spider-Man at once challenge game.
They don't really make shitty licensed tie-in games anymore for movies or properties, unless I mean, on the Switch, they had that one Ultimate Alliance game that people thought was mid, but like they don't really do that anymore, which is like
Well, I think I
sad
know.
in a way, but also kind of good.
I
if they
think I know
don't.
why. It's probably because people got fed up buying shit games just because they had a name on them.
Yeah, there was a lot of that in like the Wii PS2 era and even 360 like PS3 era.
I honestly think the Arkham games, like, they didn't single handedly drag us out of that era, but they played like a pretty big part in it. I think.
I would agree with that. And then pretty much every superhero game is like, all right, this is how we're gonna do combat now. Is like we'll just follow the Arkham games.
Like, I remember they released, so when Batman Begins came out, they released like a game with it. Let me check these dates to make sure that this isn't maybe
While
I'm
you
not
look at
misremembering
dates,
this.
I'll say I think the Spider-Man games have kind of always gone hard though. Like the Spider-Man
Hmm.
games have, for the most part, all been pretty like good. At
Yeah.
least there were notable outliers that were always pretty good, like Spider-Man 2 PS2, and some of the PS1 games were pretty fun.
Hmm. Yeah, I remember. So they made a Batman Begins game. It was kind of meh. I think they announced a Dark Knight game, and it got canceled like like not long after the movie came out. And then Batman Arkham Asylum came out, and everybody was just sitting there like, well, what have you been doing all this time with these Batman games? Like, you got it's not no point competing.
Oh yeah, just like, we're gonna just release a banger, and then was the sequel the bad one? Was the third one the bad one? What was the one that was
Um,
like notably terrible? I think the sequel
so
was Arkham City or
none
something,
of them
right?
were
And that was
terrible.
good.
Arkham City was generally considered to be the best one. Arkham Origins was made by a different studio, and it was okay. It had lots of like really good stuff and lots of like pretty bad stuff. Like, some people even argue it had the best story. I don't really agree with that, but
Well,
it
one
was
of them
different.
was like broken at launch. It was the problem. I think it
Oh,
was Origins.
Arkham
Like,
Knight was broken on launch on PC.
oh yeah, okay, there was a huge issue
Yeah.
with that.
So, yeah, Arkham Knight, it still ended up being pretty good. I think it wasn't as good as Arkham City, which is kind of natural because Arkham City was just a fantastic game. But I think the game actually holds up super well. Like just the graphics alone, like they look crazy for a 2015 game. Like it looks better than lots of games like nowadays. Even going beyond like just artistic differences and things like that.
Yeah, those games really do look really nice. I will say they had a weird thing with the remasters though.
Hmm.
That game suffered from remaster. We're gonna change all of the lighting and like
Oh
kill the mood. So I guess the remasters brighten areas that were purposefully dark for mood lighting. That like they had a reason to be dark and they just kind of threw lighting everywhere.
man,
So it's one of those unfortunate situations where it's like, what's the definitive version of the game? Because there's drawbacks. Kind of to a lesser extent, Dark Souls 1 was like that. Although if you think Dark Souls Prepare to Die edition is a definitive version of the game, you're like
man.
smoking something. Um especially on PC, because it's like, I get artistically, I don't really like the Vaseline fires of Dark Souls Remastered, but the fact that it
Hmm.
runs at 60 and has netcode that works and fixed like Gravelord and actually is functional just blows out of the other game out of the water in terms
Yeah.
of features.
Okay, let's see. I'm looking through my Xbox game catalog to find some more games that I think need sequels.
I think
Uh,
Xbox is a good thing to draw from, because like
yeah,
a lot of their games that were maybe only on Xbox just died.
yeah.
Um,
So Brink didn't end up
oh
being a
yeah,
particularly good game, but I would like to see them get another shot at it. I think it was a really cool concept. Might be a little dated, uh, mostly because the whole like class based high customization body type parkour stuff. Like it's all kind of been done already, which to be fair, probably already been done because Brink did it and it looked cool. It just wasn't the best execution or the best performance as far as the fact that the game felt unbelievably clunky and unfinished. Um, the High Moon Transformers games. So they made Transformers War for Cybertron, which was like the first one, and Fall of Cybertron, which was like which is the second one, and it ended with them basically like leaving the planet. And then everybody was really excited for a next game. I remember, I need to look this up to confirm, but I think it was called Transformers Rise of the Dark Spark. Yeah, Transformers Rise of the Dark Spark. So this game was not made by High Moon. It didn't have competitive multiplayer, and it sucked. And it tried to tie it in with like the Transformers movies, which is one of the things that everybody, all the fans are begging them. Yeah, this is a great thing you got going on here. Don't connect it to the Michael Bay movies, please. I would very much hate if you did that, and they did it. And then High Moon went and made Deadpool. Deadpool didn't do great, and Activision said, "We banish thee to Call of Duty jail."
Oh
And yeah,
no.
man,
Work on this Santa Claus skin for the battle pass.
it's funny because I was talking to some of my friends about this earlier today, and they're saying like, James, you seem to know like a lot of stuff about Transformers. Why don't you like help them make a Transformers game? Like, yeah, if they still made them. And then
Hey, there's like a new movie coming out, I think. Maybe they'll make an iPhone game.
you think they're gonna make the movie's already out? Actually, it's been
Oh,
out
maybe
for maybe a month, but
maybe they made a mobile game.
maybe they made a mobile game. Yeah. I'm looking at it again. Yeah, these guys really are. They're in like Call of Duty / Destiny, like support. I don't want to call it jail because I feel like that is a little offensive, but they're supporting Call of Duty and Destiny. So yeah, I don't know exactly what they do. I just know that they're listed as like a support studio, and they're like 155 employees. They could make their own stuff, but I don't know. It is what it is.
Battle Pass division.
Activision do what Activision do.
They make the super cool multicolor rarity legendary gamer neon pink hair super epic super rare charged 27 crystal gun skin for Call of Duty.
Man,
Just how many modifiers and colors can we fit on this description to make it
oh,
seem like it has value?
Oh, I'm looking at High Moon's game history. Their first game was a game called Dark Watch, and got me thinking of Overwatch. I'm like, geez, this is a game I don't think needed a sequel. But anyway,
Overwatch 2. Woo!
but apparently Dark Watch the sequel got canceled, and
Hey,
there was a film adaptation. It remains in development hell 20 years later.
it'll come out.
Wait, I need to look this up. I need to do more research on this. Dark Watch movie. Let's see what do we got. I don't even know if this is the game or if it's a different Dark Watch.
The name is generic enough that it's probably different.
Yeah, but yeah, apparently this game was poised to be like a huge success. Like it had a lot of promise, and then they just kind of didn't happen.
You know what's kind of like
okay.
BS about Overwatch 2?
What?
Everyone dunked on Overwatch 2 because it was like kind of the first of its kind to just slap a 2 on a live service game. But then CSGO 2 or Counter-Strike 2 got announced, and everyone's like, Pog, this is great. I mean, people dunked on it a little bit, but everyone was like, yeah, this is good. This is fine. And I think Overwatch 2 took the hit so that game could just announce and be like, it's fine.
I also do think it's a little bit different because the whole point of CS2, before it was even titled CS2, was like years ago it got leaked that Counter Strike was gonna be ported to Source 2, and it's like now it's ported to Source 2, new features, remodeled a bunch of stuff. Honestly, if you don't consider characters, might be more different from CS:GO than Overwatch 2 is from Overwatch 1. But
okay. All right, here's my lock of the week.
Time.
You heard it here first. For Honor 2. Keep your eye out. Keep your eye out on also Dead by Daylight 2.
Don't they like regularly update that game?
Keep your eyes peeled for Honor 2 and Dead by Daylight 2. Two games that kind of need like a universe reset because they're in too deep. Like there's too much. There's too many people who play those games, and there's too much of a learning curve to get in now. It's too deep.
Yeah. All right, I have a few more games that I think deserve sequels. Some of which may or may not be completely abandoned by the devs, so who knows what's actually going to happen.
All right, hit me.
Left 4 Dead 2, the obligatory one.
They got a sequel, Back 4 Blood. Next. No, I'm just kidding.
Definitely. Yeah, make another Left 4 Dead game, putty please.
You got one, James. It's called Vermintide, Warhammer Vermintide.
Yeah.
And Vermintide 2.
Yeah, definitely.
And that one vampire game they kept showing at every E3 thing that I don't remember the name of.
Oh no.
And yeah.
Oh man. Crap. I had two more in mind.
You
I just forgot them. I need
you
to
could
go.
name any Valve game that
Okay.
needs a sequel.
Yeah, honestly, you could. Sunset Overdrive, Insomniac. I like game. I know Xbox exclusive. I know you with Sony now. However, that game was cool.
Dude, that game is like the brink of that
Oh,
genre of game.
Okay,
It's
but
the
actually,
same.
that game was actually really good.
I
That's
know.
the thing. It's actually just really good. They just kind of they left it for Spider Man.
That game is $6 on Steam right now too.
Oh wait,
So-
it's on Steam. Wait,
yeah,
I meant to buy that.
it's $6. I mean, I looked at it the other day too. I'm like,
Open my
maybe
Steam
I'll
store.
pick that up. I heard it was good
I
at one
can't
point.
remember. Did this game have co-op?
What the?
Maybe not.
Why are people are like something? I don't know. Millennial Slop is one man's review.
Millennial Slop. Okay, there was one more. Oh, right. Injustice. So they made Injustice 2, and actually they just announced a new Mortal Kombat game. And so what's very controversial about this one is so that they had like NetherRealm had a cycle. So they released Mortal Kombat in 2011, like the Mortal Kombat 9, like the restart of the universe. And then they said, okay, 2013, Injustice. The DC fighting game. It was horrendously unbalanced, actually. Like looking back, it was awful, but it was fun, and I could play as DC characters in a Mortal Kombat style fighting game without all the gore. Then I think 2015, Mortal Kombat X. Okay, back to Mortal Kombat after 4 years. 2017, Injustice 2. Okay, story was terrible, but still more Injustice stuff, and maybe people didn't like a lot of the new mechanics, but superheroes punching each other, cool. Then 2019, Mortal Kombat 11, other Mortal Kombat game. I'm not, it's Mortal Kombat. Then 2021, no game. 2023, Mortal Kombat 1, because that's the cool thing to do now. You reset your numbers, even though it makes it very confusing because it's actually Mortal Kombat 12, and there's already an original Mortal Kombat, and you called Mortal Kombat 9 Mortal Kombat. So you can't really go back. There are two Mortal Kombats,
and the next game will be Mortal Kombat 2048.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, Mortal Kombat 1 looks great. Looks really funny. Not just funny, but fun. Johnny Cage did the punch people in the nuts thing, and I laughed. He also did the thing where you where you pretend you have one of those like pop up things. You like spin it, and then it's like the middle finger comes out, and it was goofy. But yeah, I want another Injustice game.
I think you'll get it. I think it's gonna happen probably.
Apparently, unironically, the reason why there isn't another one is because there's a licensing problem.
Yeah, honestly,
unfortunately,
I think they might just need some more time to get some more characters. King Shark will probably be a character featured in that.
Shark.
That's and all the Suicide Squad ass.
Yeah,
people.
they're gonna get all the Suicide Squad characters. 110%.
Yeah, I think they're just gonna wait, get a bulk buy. You'll have Jared Leto Joker.
Yeah, they're gonna get an even bigger.
For sure.
They're gonna give Harley Quinn an even bigger role in the story because we're experiencing the Harley Quinn renaissance.
Hey, that show's good though. Watch the show. I know that first episode. By the way, I screened the first episode of the Harley Quinn show to James and another friend, and nice. I could tell that they were doing the thing where you show your friends something you like, and they like don't seem to get into it, and you're like, guys, I swear it gets good, but it does. That first episode was okay, but it low key is kind of cringe a little bit, and it gets way better as it goes on.
So I actually was really interested, and I did want to watch it.
Yeah.
And but I was like, when I got home, I'm like, well, I don't want to just watch it like now.
Yeah.
It's like, I just got home, but yeah, I'll watch it. I will watch it at some point.
That first episode, I almost bounced. Like I feel like that first episode is very exposition heavy, and it seems like I think they swear a lot more unnecessarily in that first episode. It's kind of cringe,
man.
But it's good enough, and then as you go on, you're like, oh wow, this is actually like genuinely funny. Really good show. Would recommend. As someone who does not care at all about DC and thinks Harley Quinn looks stupid, give it a shot. It's really good. It's really genuinely funny. Yeah. And with that, I think. Well, James, I mean, you're the host of the podcast.
I am the host. Don't just go calling the end of my episode, Matt.
Yeah, I am the Robin of this podcast. I am the Dick Grayson Robin.
I'm the Batman. No, you're more like Tim Drake Robin.
I'm Tim Drake. I don't want to be Tim. Isn't that the one who died?
No, no, that was
Which
Jason Todd.
Jason Todd? Then there's
Tim Drake is the one who had parents.
Oh, and then what's his one where it's
The
it's
lame
his
one.
son?
This Damian
Uh,
Wayne.
Damian Wayne. Yeah, I
Yeah.
want to be Damian Wayne.
Tim Drake is the lame one with 2 living parents.
Yeah, how is he gonna be a superhero with living parents?
Oh god. All right. Yeah. Podcast over. I've been James, aka James04E. I'm on lots of the things. Google me. I don't know. Matt, what's your name? I forgot.
I forget. My name is Matt, aka Matt Fondude. I am on Twitch primarily at Matt Fondude, YouTube at Matt Fondude. I'm on TikTok, unfortunately. I'm on Twitter, but I might be on Thread soon. Threads. So keep your eye out on Threads. But yeah. All right. Goodbye. Yeah. Wacky funny noise.
Yeah. Bye.
Awooga.